Let's start with the sharing our gratitude to the Buddha and our teacher. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May our homage and respect goes to our teacher, Pinat Lokuswami also. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first, let's listen to the sutta audio recording. Listen like you are listening to the Buddha's teaching. So this is a English translation of the sutta.
Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 127. Anuruddhasutta.
Can you all hear me?
Anuruddha. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's grove, Anathapindika's park. Then the carpenter, Panchakanga, addressed a certain man thus: Come, good man, go to the Venerable Anuruddha, pay homage in my name with your head at his feet, and say, Venerable Sir, the carpenter Panchakanga pays homage with his head at the Venerable Anuruddha's feet and says, Venerable Sir, let the Venerable Anuruddha with 3 others consent to accept tomorrow's meal from the carpenter Panchakanga. And let the Venerable Anuruddha arrive punctually, as the carpenter Panchakanga is very busy and has much work to do for the king. Yes, sir, that man replied, and he went to the Venerable Anuruddha. After paying homage to the Venerable Anuruddha, he sat down at one side and delivered his message. The Venerable Anuruddha consented in silence. Then, when the night had ended, it being morning, the Venerable Anuruddha dressed, and taking his bowl and outer robe, he went to the carpenter Panchakanga's house, and sat down on a seat made ready. Then with his own hands the carpenter Panchakanga served and satisfied the Venerable Anuruddha with the various kinds of good food. Then, when the Venerable Anuruddha had eaten and had withdrawn his hand from his bowl, the carpenter Panchakanga took a low seat, sat down at one side, and said to the Venerable Anuruddha, Here, Venerable Sir, elder bhikkhus have come to me and said, Householder, develop the immeasurable deliverance of mind. And some elders have said, Householder, develop the exalted deliverance of mind. Venerable Sir, the immeasurable deliverance of mind and the exalted deliverance of mind, are these states different in meaning and different in name? Or are they one in meaning and different only in name? Explain it as you see it, householder. Afterwards it will be cleared up for you. Venerable Sir, I think thus. The immeasurable deliverance of mind and the exalted deliverance of mind, these states are one in meaning and different only in name. Householder, the immeasurable deliverance of mind and the exalted deliverance of mind, these states are different in meaning and different in name. And it should be understood as follows how these states are different in meaning and different in name. What, householder, is the immeasurable deliverance of mind? Here a bhikkhu abides pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with loving kindness. Likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth. So above, below, around and everywhere, and to all as to himself he abides, pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. He abides, pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with compassion, likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth. So above, below, around, and everywhere. And to all as to himself he abides, pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with compassion, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. He abides, pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with altruistic joy, likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above, below, around, and everywhere. And to all as to himself he abides, pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with altruistic joy, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. He abides, pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with equanimity, likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above, below, around, and everywhere. And to all as to himself he abides, pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with equanimity, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility, and without ill will. This is called the immeasurable deliverance of mind. And what, householder, is the exalted deliverance of mind? Here a bhikkhu abides, resolved upon an area the size of the root of one tree, pervading it as exalted. This is called the exalted deliverance of mind. Here a bhikkhu abides, resolved upon an area the size of the roots of 2 or 3 trees, pervading it as exalted. This too is called the exalted deliverance of mind. Here a bhikkhu abides, resolved upon an area the size of 1 village, pervading it as exalted. This too is called the exalted deliverance of mind. Here a bhikkhu abides, resolved upon an area the size of 2 or 3 villages, pervading them as exalted. This too is called the exalted deliverance of mind. Here a bhikkhu abides, resolved upon an area the size of 1 major kingdom, pervading it as exalted. This too is called the exalted deliverance of mind. Here a bhikkhu abides, resolved upon an area the size of 2 or 3 major kingdoms, pervading them as exalted. This too is called the exalted deliverance of mind. Here a bhikkhu abides, resolved upon an area the size of the earth, bounded by the ocean, pervading it as exalted. This too is called the exalted deliverance of mind. It is in this way, householder, that it can be understood how these states are different in meaning and different in name. There are, householder, these 4 kinds of rebirth in the future state of being. What for? Here someone abides, resolved upon and pervading limited radiance. On the dissolution of the body, after death, he reappears in the company of the gods of limited radiance. Here someone abides, resolved upon and pervading immeasurable radiance. On the dissolution of the body, after death, he reappears in the company of the gods of immeasurable radiance. Here someone abides, resolved upon and pervading defiled radiance. On the dissolution of the body, after death, he reappears in the company of the gods of defiled radiance. Here someone abides, resolved upon and pervading pure radiance. On the dissolution of the body after death, he reappears in the company of the gods of pure radiance. These are the four kinds of rebirth in the future state of being. There is an occasion, householder, when those deities assemble in one place. When they have assembled in one place, a difference in their color can be discerned, but no difference in their radiance. Just as if a man were to bring several oil lamps into a house, a difference in the flames of the lamps might be discerned, but no difference in their radiance. So too, there is an occasion when those deities assemble in one place. When they have assembled in one place, a difference in their color can be discerned, but no difference in their radiance. Just as if a man were to bring several oil lamps into a house, a difference in the flames of the lamps might be discerned, but no difference in their radiance. There is an occasion, householder, when those deities disperse from there. When they have dispersed, a difference in their colors can be discerned, and also a difference in their radiance. Just as if the man were to remove those several oil lamps from that house, a difference might be discerned in the flames of the lamps, and also a difference in their radiance. So too there is an occasion when those deities disperse from there. When they have dispersed, a difference in their colors can be discerned, and also a difference in their radiance. It does not occur to those deities. The life of ours is permanent, everlasting, and eternal. Yet whenever those deities settle down, there they find delight, just as when flies are being carried along on a carrying pole or on a basket. It does not occur to them, this life of ours is permanent, everlasting, or eternal. Yet wherever those flies settle down, there they find delight. So too it does not occur to those deities, this life of ours is permanent, everlasting, and eternal. Yet wherever those deities settle down, there they find delight. When this was said, the Venerable Abhiya Kachana said to the Venerable Anuruddha, "Good, Venerable Anuruddha, yet I have something further to ask. Are all those radiant ones deities of limited radiance, or are some of them deities of immeasurable radiance? By reason of the factor responsible for rebirth, friend Kachana, some are deities of limited radiance, some deities of immeasurable radiance." Venerable Anuruddha, what is the cause and reason why among those deities that have reappeared in a single order of gods, some are deities of limited radiance, some deities of immeasurable radiance? As to that, friend Kachana, I shall ask you a question in return. Answer it as you choose. What do you think, friend Kachana? When one bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of the root of one tree, pervading it as exalted, and another bhikkhu abides resolved upon the area the size of the roots of 2 or 3 trees, pervading it as exalted, which of these types of mental development is more exalted? The second, Venerable Sir. What do you think, friend Kachana? When one bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of the roots of 2 or 3 trees, pervading it as exalted, and another bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of one village, pervading it as exalted, which of these 2 types of mental development is more exalted? The second, Venerable Sir. What do you think, friend Kachana? When one bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of one village, pervading it as exalted, and another bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of 2 or 3 villages, pervading it as exalted. Which of these types of mental development is more exalted? The second, Venerable Sir. What do you think, friend Kachana, when one bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of 2 or 3 villages, pervading it as exalted, and another bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of one major kingdom, pervading it as exalted? Which of these types of mental development is more exalted? The second, Venerable Sir. What do you think, friend Kachana, when one bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of one major kingdom, pervading it as exalted, and another bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of 2 or 3 major kingdoms, pervading it as exalted? Which of these types of mental development is more exalted? The second, Venerable Sir. What do you think, friend Kachana, when one bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of 2 or 3 major kingdoms, pervading it as exalted, and another bhikkhu abides resolved upon an area the size of the earth, bounded by the ocean, pervading it as exalted? Which of these two types of mental development is more exalted? The second, Venerable Sir. This is the cause and reason, friend Kachana, why among those deities that have reappeared in a single order of gods, some are deities of limited radiance, some deities of immeasurable radiance. Good, Venerable Anuruddha, yet I have something further to ask. Are all those radiant ones deities of defiled radiance, or are some of them deities of pure radiance? By reason of the factor responsible for rebirth, friend Kachana, some are deities of defiled radiance, some deities of pure radiance. Venerable Anuruddha, what is the cause and reason why among those deities that have reappeared in a single order of gods, some are deities of defiled radiance, some deities of pure radiance? As to that, friend Kachana, I shall give a simile. For some wise men here understand the meaning of a statement by means of a simile. Suppose an oil lamp is burning with impure oil and an impure wick. Because of the impurity of its oil and its wick, it burns dimly. So too, here a bhikkhu abides resolved upon and pervading an area with a defiled radiance. His bodily inertia has not fully subsided. His sloth and torpor have not been fully eliminated. His restlessness and worry have not been fully removed. Because of this he meditates, as it were, dimly. On the dissolution of the body after death, he reappears in the company of the gods of defiled radiance. Suppose an oil lamp is burning with pure oil and a pure wick. Because of the purity of its oil and its wick, it does not burn dimly. So too, here, a bhikkhu abides resolved upon and pervading an area with a pure radiance. His bodily inertia has fully subsided. His sloth and torpor have been fully eliminated. His restlessness and worry have been fully removed. Because of this he meditates, as it were, brightly. On the dissolution of the body, after death, he reappears in the company of the gods of pure radiance. This is the cause and reason, friend Kachana, why among those deities that have reappeared in the same order of gods, some are deities of defiled radiance, some deities of pure radiance. When this was said, the Venerable Abhiya Kachana said to the Venerable Anuruddha, Good, Venerable Anuruddha, the Venerable Anuruddha does not say, Thus have I heard, or, It should be thus. Rather, The Venerable Anuruddha says, "These gods are thus, and those gods are such." It occurs to me, Venerable Sir, that the Venerable Anuruddha certainly has associated with those deities and talked with them and held conversations with them. Certainly, friend Kachana, your words are offensive and discourteous, but still I will answer you. Over a long time I have associated with those deities and talked with them and held conversations with them. When this was said, the Venerable Abhiya Kachana said to the carpenter Panchakanga, "It is a gain for you, householder. It is a great gain for you that you have abandoned your state of doubt and have had the opportunity to hear this discourse on the Dhamma."
Okay, so I think you all have a kind of understanding on the sutta. Let's dive into the sutta. So this is a sutta. This sutta allows you help us to understand the variations of or the difference of practicing different ways of practicing loving kindness meditation and the consequences of the loving kindness meditation, what happens to ourselves when we practice the loving kindness. So in brief, they teach us that there are two different ways of spreading loving kindness. One called apamana cheto vimutti. Apamana means limitless, no limit. Pamana means a limit. Apamana means the opposite of it. Cheto vimutti means the cheto means mind. The vimukti means the freedom, freedom from the anger. That means mind is free from anger. So one way of is apamana cheto vimukti, which means someone can spread love and kindness, or not only the loving kindness, actually, the all the four those qualities, loving kindness or the metta, compassion or the karuna, appreciative joy or the mudita, the equanimity or the upeka, spreading direction-wise, one direction to the other, second direction, third direction, four directions, and then the sub-directions, and above, below, and all around. So this is a one way. So you might have practiced all the living beings in the uh, north, may be free from anger, be free from ill will, jealousy, free from mental or physical sufferings, be free from live in peace and live in happily. So likewise, spreading direction wise. That's one way. The Mahagata means it's like a spreading to a certain boundary and then expanding the boundary. So in this sutta it says like someone who goes to a place where they sit under a tree and then spreading love and kindness to the around the living beings who live around the tree, and then to a tree, to then to a village, then couple of village, to kingdom, to the other kingdoms, and whole uh, to the whole earth and to the rest of the world. So likewise, expanding the boundary. So that's called the Mahagata Cheto Vimukti. And then the Arahant Anuruddha had great psychic power, though the special power due to his deeper meditations, and he can see almost like all like entire universe, and then the living beings who live uh, in those places. That ability that is just only second to the Buddha. No other arhants had that sort of strength like Anuruddha. So he's special in that. So then the Arahant Anuruddha describing the variations of when practice. So as an example, you all know that when we practice loving kindness, it changes our mind and the body, and it creates kind of a uh, uh, luminous light in our mind when we practice. And so with that, so there are when if someone practice think that someone spread love and kindness to a certain boundary, and then their the radiant is limited to that area. So that means when they reborn, their radiant is limited, reborn as a divinely power likewise. And then if someone spread that love and kindness far more than that, their radiant is like limitless. After dying, when they reborn, if they didn't attain the nibbana, or if they did not able to end this sufferings, that means we can't avoid the rebirth. So when they rebirth, one, they have that radiant, limited radiant, the other has the limitless radiant. Then there is another two groups. That means from that even some has defiled radiant, and some has a very pure radiant. Think that uh, uh, the different lights, so like that some lights does not have that the purity in it, and some lights has. So likewise, that variation happens due to the power of their samadhi, that means their concentration. When they concentrate, when they settle their mind, when they bring their focused attention, some are dealing with that focused attention with the uh, wandering mind. His mind is still wander, or the drowsiness, or all those things disturbs. So then, even though they have that samadhi, it is not pure. It's impure with the defilements. So there is another group. It doesn't matter they spread to a limited area, but when they spread the love and kindness, it does not have that defilements in their mind. So because of that, they have very bright and defilements less, defiled less flame. When they reborn, it's so purified compared to the other group. So the example shows that the Anuruddha, Arahant Anuruddha giving an example is a nice one, which says that when we keep different thing, that we keep different candles in a one row. So in there we can see what radiant is this each candle can radiate the light, but we can still see the difference of the spark or the flame, actually different of the flame. So but when we take one by one from room, we know that the radiant of the candle, and also we can see how about the flame. Is it so blue, or is it like yellow, or it's like dark yellow? Also we can see all those things. So likewise, all those differentiations happens how when their mind, how they spread, how much they have spread the loving kindness, and then when they spread loving kindness, how was their mind? So those are the things. And then they bringing another example that these divinely powers does not have that uh, craving or attachment like usually the other living beings has. So in giving an example, like thinking of saying about the flies who lives around the home. So see that since they had the divinely powers, that these devas have so much of love and kindness, I don't think they will upset with referring to a fly, right? So so when the fly find some food or something, then he is satisfied in where he lives until he leaves. When he leaves, he goes somewhere else. He doesn't think. He keep on thinking where he was. He's being satisfied from that place. Likewise, they don't have great cravings according to the Arahant Anuruddha. So when Arahant Anuruddha describing these things, there was another monk came to the lunch with Anuruddha Kachana. So he asked, Bhante, you are saying it like with so much of confidence, not like saying that I have heard this also. So then he's asking whether you are talking or having conversations with them, and the Arahant saying yes. First, he does not like to share those the qualities. That's the one quality of Arahants. They are down to earth and they don't want to show off because nothing to gain or nothing to lose. They are just existing until die. So then he is saying that yes, of course, I do see them, and I consistently, and I'm having conversations with them also. And there are the other sutras, Arahant saying about the divine, the difference of the divine. So in here we can find that the difference of the gods are like another living beings. We talk about animal, it's another world, and we talk about ghosts, it's another world, living beings where they live according to the circumstances there. We talk about humans, it's another living being, a world where living beings reborn. And then the same way the devas, they are not eternal. Yes, of course, compared to human, they are powerful, but they are not living there forever. They'll reborn there due to the karma, the consequences they accumulated in their mind. And that's how this sutta describe about the life and the loving kindness and the variations of the loving kindness. Okay. Do you have any questions regarding this, or do you need any further clarification? Can you describe what you have understood?
The Bante is basically that, or I said the divas that have a different radiance or color light, have or let's or yeah, they have different color lights because some are defiled and some are not. And the reasons they're defiled is because they're um when they I guess when they spread their loving kindness, they don't spread it as far as some other devas do, and so
No,
therefore,
yeah, you're talking about the radiant or the quality of the light.
well, the quality of the light too, right? So isn't it the
Yeah,
flame?
actually, the radiant counts the limit they spread. If they spread that loving kindness, like think that one spread love and kindness to like think that Mike spreading loving kindness only to Vienna.
Mhm.
So Diego spreading loving kindness to the whole California. So
Mhm.
then, when reborn, think that now the Linda is spread to the whole Canada. That's so
Mhm.
big. And so likewise, so then the thing that Frank spread to the whole United States. So likewise, the light change. That's how the luminance change, and then the
Mhm.
quality of the light that the light change the from the defilement. Whether they have defilement, you know that you may find when you meditate, sometimes we have the concentration, but mind still wander. So it's like the defilements arising, and sometimes the drowsiness is here there. So it's not the full happiness experiencing. It's not the full inner peace, and it's not still there is kind of yeah, the heaviness instead of the full tranquility and the lightness of the body. So that's how it. This is not saying that when we one time practice that the overall practice.
Is it saying, is it just the devas, or is it anybody that practices this
I
way? Is
mean,
it
it happens before they become devas. Deva is the consequences of what they have practiced when they have practiced in their previous life.
okay? Now I see. I understand now. So depending on how they practice, their radiance would also determine kind of the color of their light.
Right.
Well, the color of their light is determined by the defilement, their
Right.
defilements that they carry. Okay, and their radiance is determined by how far they spread their loving kindness to the town or to the city or to the state or to the world. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Bante.
Yeah, okay. So remember, it's not just a bunch of words. It should have that the meaning. It should have the feeling because that's what I'm saying. If you don't feel the love and loving kindness when you spread, it's better to start with doing some volunteering or at least starting with feeding birds even. So likewise, then it creates that feeling creates in ourselves. There's a question, the loving kindness, how long does it take to reach the highest potential possible? How does one know they have attained this stage? The first question, how long does it take to reach the highest potential possible? This is a typical American question. So the answer for this is it depends. It's an individual case. So the how much effort you put, how much defilements you have, and the how your mind is. So that's why it's so different. So some monks even they have reached to the fullest uh, in like a very short period of times, and there were some monks who struggled for 25 years without even a moment of stillness, experiencing a moment of stillness. So it's like not even like you, like struggling with the whole day. So it depends, it's changed. And to the second, how does one know they have attained this state? They know by their experience. Uh, Should you practice both limitless and exalted, or the Mahagata Apamana, release of loving kindness? Yes, it's a important thing. If you are a regular meditator, mm, mm, my suggestion and advice is to practice both. It helps you to improve your loving kindness samadhi, and it help you you will find that there are two different experiences when you practice these two. So it's good to have practiced these two, and it will create a merge experience when you practice. I work with few people that do many selfish things daily, and I have a very hard time feeling anything loving or kind towards them. How do you feel loving or kind towards people who act very selfish and harm others? Yes, this is a something uh, we have to fight and with, not by punching them, right? With your own love and kindness. So it's like this. So um, Stacey, actually, we discussed this in last Sunday meditation. Also, yes, thank you for bringing this question. Uh, Actually, there are people in the world who do these selfish things. But the problem is we can still recover from what they are doing. But the thing is our mind keep on thinking on that. That's what suffering arise a lot. If not, whatever they do, it's just an incident. Think that if someone say behind our back, and it's just an incident, the and nothing else other than that. But the problem is When we know that and when we feel that they are doing such a thing, it keep on popping our mind. So for this, understand this special thing, which is, yes, of course, we don't like anger, but in the same time, we like to keep on thinking that angry thought pattern. I'll repeat it. We don't like to feel anger, but we like to keep on thinking that angry thought pattern. That's why it just keep on popping in our mind. So the common example I always say that if I ask you to forget an apple, suddenly apple comes to your mind, and until then there wasn't any apple near your mind. So likewise, since we have that inner ego craving to keep on thinking that thought pattern, so justifying ourselves, that thought pattern has justifying ourselves, criticizing and judging the other side. The anger keep on popping. So what we have to do is seeing anger, and instead of complaining the other side, try to find out what thought pattern I have addicted, what keep on popping in my mind, and what keep on thinking. When you understand that certain thought pattern, then you can easily see the culprit not from the outside. You can see the danger, not a person, but a thought pattern within you. Not you are not complaining you even. You are understanding the danger of a certain thought pattern. Then what will happen? Even though you see the things are not good around you, your mind is you see the danger of it and you avoid it. Then after some times you have confidence and you have happiness, and your mind won't change when others do bad things to you. Most of the time, not every time, there will be things that hurt you hard, but when your appearances, when your reactions are not with anger, the others can't keep on doing that. There is a different, definitely a stop, because you, when they uh, uh, hurt you, you don't hold it. You just being mindful and just smiling. And your loving kindness does not stop, and you keep on helping them without expecting anything in return, and you feel happy about that. And most importantly, you don't keep on thinking the thought pattern. There are some techniques people use uh, in therapies also, when someone want to avoid a thought pattern. In the beginning, if you find it difficult to overcome, I would suggest to at least to do that, because I know when you overcome from that the addicted thought pattern, which keep popping and improving anger, increasing anger. Once you eliminate that thought pattern, you will feel freedom and happiness. Again, it doesn't matter where you are in the hell, because you will be the one who turn the hell into the heaven by making things beautiful and helpful. It's like you are turning that people will come to your hell to see the heaven because of you, because you change it. So the thing which I'm saying that in therapy, I don't know in here, but one time I have heard putting a rubber band, keeping a rubber band in your hand, and when you find that the thought pattern arise in you, you take the rubber band like this and just release. Then it create a pain. Then you know that if I keep on thinking this, I have to I will experience a pain. Afraid of this pain, you are not going to keep on thinking in that thought pattern. In return, when you don't put the gas to the anger, your anger will reduce. And when that thought pattern is not no longer uh, uh, taking the advantage and overtake your mindfulness, you will be free and happy. Just try it. If it works, keep doing it, and no one knows that what your bracelet is. Okay. And if once feel guilty, is love and kindness meditation the answer? Yes, of course. And definitely, because loving kindness create that happiness in yourself. Because the guilty always create pain, and it hurt. It gives so much of unease to ourselves. But when we cultivate love and kindness, it's a totally opposite thing. You may find when even if you are a person who had that guilty feeling, actually that guilty the thing is we since we couldn't understand some traumas, especially mm, PTSDs like post trauma disorders. Uh, when we bring ourselves to the back to normal, that means with loving kindness and happiness, still that since we have practiced that pain in ourselves, once we finish that meditation, that the neuro patterns will tell that okay, you should be worry about something, find a reason to worry, that pain say you to find a reason. Then if you couldn't find one reason, you will try to find another reason. So that's why, or even there are think that 1,000 patients with PTSD, they have different reasons to worry. But you know one thing, if someone think that if someone has a guilty because of a cultural reason, if that person is not in that culture or different culture, still he will find another reason to keep hurt himself. It changed. So, but the problem is what I'm saying. If you couldn't find one guilty, you will find another guilty. So, if you are a person who is keep on popping that pain and trying to find was anything to suffer, then it's better to practice loving kindness and then be mindful. This worrying is not coming because of this special reason. This comes because I used to keep on thinking and worrying in this setting. I'm just saying, I just say to this to uh, as one person actually. He uh, me because there are sometimes even though we don't think, sometimes it comes to our mind and we keep on popping in ourselves. And there is another question: what can one do to uh, counteract it if one may truly not be so? So improving mindfulness is the main thing. That's what we have to do. And because when we mindful, instead of representing anything as me or mine or myself, we can easily figure it out how what's going on here instead of judging or complaining or worrying or in the same time boasting even. I'm a very good meditator. You don't know how long I meditate. All those things are framing ourselves. So basically, there is another question. So basically, this sutra says that we should practice with conviction. We must first have love and kindness with ourselves. As we focus, we must increase both our concentration and the radius to which we try to spread. This creates the enlightenment in the life that determines our placement in next or close. This is one of the beautiful summary I have read. Thank you for sharing. And this is good. I will share some important things which we may need to remember in ourselves. So sometimes, yeah, first of all, um, even though we try hard, it's not that easy to deal with the anger by ourselves. It's like who was the famous um, I forgot his name. That he was the one even in he was in peak even when we were kids. Even that the wrestler who recently retired.
Mike Tyson.
No, no, the wrestling the recently, very recently. Anyway, it's a thing that it's like without a proper practice, like us going to fight with the famous wrestler. It doesn't work. So, but Buddha, thanks to the Buddha, he gives us super powerful different weapons to use in different cases. So we all need these different weapons, not think that uh, AK-47 is a good to kind of a long distance, and but if you are in a house also, then you may need a pistol. Likewise, different weapons need. Don't kill anyone. I'm just saying an example, right? And so likewise, this don't try to practice only one certain meditation. Try to practice different tools, even to deal with the anger. So try to, first of all, we need to have the confidence towards the Buddha, or the we call the Shraddha. Buddha one time saying, uh, dear monks, uh, uh, these defilements can eliminate. Be sure about that. And then one time Buddha saying, if someone eliminate anger 100%, I'll assure you will be in the third stage of enlightenment, which is anagami, the non-return. So it's in the Kuddaka canon, the small Sutta canon. So likewise, if you don't have confidence that, like if you feel like whether it may be able, whether I can make it or not, be confident of the Buddha. No, he says that we can make it. Yes, then definitely. Then not by ourselves, because it's like we can't hold an elephant in our on our shoulders, but if someone gives us a 10 wheel, if we can drive, yes, of course we can take elephant to anywhere. So likewise, we can do by ourselves, but with the tools we can do. So we first have the confidence, and then try to find the different techniques which works, like loving kindness meditation, loving kind acts, and where the read your own mind narrations, thought patterns, whether this lead to anger or to the loving kindness, whether this lead to the sufferings or not, whether this lead to attachment or not. So, and then try to fill your heart with true love and kindness. True love and kindness means sharing without expecting anything in return, like a mom. So mother doesn't care whether you care her when or put into a elderly care and does not check at all until the Mother's Day. It doesn't matter. He never ask or may what do any sort of agreements, create agreements, but a mother feeds you her children and take care of all the rest of the things, clean, give education and everything. So without expecting anything in return.
So, like
Yeah.
Buddha used to say that his way is of a direct knowledge, like which goes by, let's say I am angry, angry thoughts are going in my mind, which means that right now I am not in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about a situation and saying, why did this happen to me, and why did he said this to me, or like that scenario that is going on in my mind, which I am treating as I'm labeling as an anger. The moment I am aware of it, I am kind of out of it, because now I have realized, like, a moment of mindfulness comes to me and say, oh, I was in that moment. And on the other hand, loving kindness and like thinking of the charnel meditation and thinking about the dead bodies, that is more, don't we think that is more like a storytelling? Oh, don't think like this, think like that, but that again is also a thinking, no? So how is that different from the way of direct knowledge?
So with the present moment awareness is comes with the vipassana. So we the two stories, the two columns help to the enlightenment. So it's like this. So the if you forget of the samatha or the loving kindness or meditation, if you try to okay, I'll practice being present as much as I can. So your practice, it will take so long, because you always need to bring mind to the present moment, and then after you're losing the mindfulness, then again you have to take it to the present moment. So but it's like this: when you have practiced the thing that the loving kindness meditation, then it says a cheto vimukti. Cheto vimukti means mind is completely out of anger. It doesn't matter whether you are being present or not, your mind does not touch anger. Maybe other
Right,
no, no.
but it is like the concept of positive and negative thinking, like don't think like this, think like this. So which is like a normal, like any psychologist or other religion or belief systems, they preach the same thing. But the main thing about Buddha is that the direct knowledge, the moment you see, oh, I was in psychological time, or I was stuck in, I was thinking about something, that very moment you are out of it. But then obviously, like you said, you keep on doing that back and forth, back and forth.
Right. So the thing is that so uh, as an example, Rajan, think that if you can see it in your direct knowledge, then it works, then it's okay. But there are another group of people. To them, it does not work. So it does not work. To them, it works how, when they uh, first they have to see the thought pattern in the primary level. They have to spread love and the kindness, or they have to cultivate that quality. When they reach to that level, then uh, it doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, we will understand that it's all about five aggregates of clingings and the five aggregates, and it's all about rising and ceasing. But for that, it need kind of a improvement of your own understanding. So first, so we have to uh, fulfill the happiness. It's like think that we are in a concepts of different concepts. Think that we have cultural barriers, and we have attached to our parents, we have attached to our children, we have attached to the so and so things in our lives. So then, while being in that state, we can cultivate loving kindness or all this meditation, and not only that, contemplating on Buddha's quality, contemplating on Dhamma, the quality of the Dhamma, contemplating of the quality of the Sangha, and then the Chaganusati means the contemplating on your generosity, contemplating on observing precepts, and the Devatanusati also, the special five qualities what they have practiced, and likewise. So it's a way of practice. So if someone say like this, so Buddha said or praised only the direct knowledge, it is untrue. Why I'm saying it's untrue? If you read the 18,000 discourses, if you will find that to the especially in the Majjhima canon, where you can find the background of the sutta. you will find that to certain people, Buddha approach in certain way, and even in the same sutta, help in different ways. As an example, one day, uh, Arahant Sariputta, before he enlightened, was next to Buddha, and it was maybe in summer, it's too hot, and he's fanning the Buddha, and there was a lay person came to meet the Buddha and asking questions. So Buddha teach him, and at the end of the teaching, that devotee came to the stream entrance, and then the one who fanned the Sariputta enlightened, listening to that sutta. And sometimes one understand and one not even come to a stream entrance, they reject and they discussed about that teaching and they go away. There is a story, if I can remember her name, yeah, Magandhya. So Magandhya's mother and father was so happy about the beauty of their daughter and always seeking a beautiful person, and they always believing that the about the in India there is a culture called thinking about the horoscopes and things. So they always wanted to find a human for her daughter. So one day, just the Mahagandia's father saw nice footprints, and he went to see who has these footprints. So he saw Buddha sitting and meditating under a tree, and he brought his daughter and with the parents, and they came and then proposed. Then Buddha said about the disgusting of this body. And so at the end of the teaching, mother and father became the third stage of enlightenment. But the daughter was furious. She thought like this Buddha, this person is criticizing me, because Buddha said like the impurity of this body. Buddha said this body is so impure, and I don't have any willingness to touch this impurity with ego. So Buddha clearly shared his knowledge. So likewise, in that case, so the one enlightened and one rejected. So likewise, we always has to understand one thing. When we're learning, it's always about individual case. So
Yeah.
one may work for someone and one may not. And we shouldn't frame Buddha's teaching only this. So this is the end of for that question. Buddha has three different superpowers. One called the Iddhipatihara, which means because of his powerful meditative level, he had some various psychic powers, which like even flying and so many different things. But Buddha said it's not the right way, and I'm not praising it. And Buddha had another ability, which is reading the other person's mind. As an example, you think that someone is in front, and so saying now you are thinking this, now you are thinking that. So then people afraid of thinking something bad. Buddha say this is not something to praise, and I don't praise it. And Buddha had the third ability, it called Anusasani Patihar, which means guiding with teaching, and with the teaching, purifying the mind while teaching. So his teaching starts like this. First, he says the Dana Katha, starting from saying about the generosity. So in that way, it's a story saying the consequences of the dana. What help when you practice generosity? It help you to overcome from the greediness or the stinginess. When teaching that the person who listening get ability what he can practice by generosity, but just listening. That's the ability of Buddha. Then once that person comes to that level, saying the Sila Katha, speech on the precepts, saying how to control body and the words. So at the end of that teaching, the listener gain the qualities which he has to practice by just observing precepts and protecting. That's the power of his teaching. Then he that's also a story actually. Then he says this the Sagga Katha, saying the consequences that when you have practicing dana and sila, you will reborn in a divine level and even come to human world. That's also a story, Sagga Katha. And then saying uh, Kamana Adinava Katha, the danger of the karma or the human, being a human or being a divine, doesn't matter whether where we the amount of happiness what we have, but this in sensual world, it has its own dangers. Like this sensual pleasure is like a dream, because it doesn't matter how much we produce in our mind, think in reality, we have to deal in the reality. As an example, someone who doesn't live in America has so many hopes to live in America, but when they become American, there's at least 60% of American living paycheck to paycheck. So that's a
Mm.
reality. Likewise, it has its own dangers. There are so many stories about karma and adino, the danger of Christianship, and then Buddha saying, what defilements create to our mind, which means what anger creates to our mind, what the lust create to our mind, what conceit create to our mind, what the defilement which we can't appreciate others' good qualities, we call the marker. Likewise, saying these, how these defilements create. So when they're listening to the range of sensual pleasures in their mind, they come to that level that, yes, of course, this is a danger. They understand it by themselves. And then, when saying about the danger of the defilements, their mind is kind of a pure. That's as an example, according to the Buddha, it's like when we overcome from defilements, someone think that want to dye a cloth, but it has so much of stains, but when someone doesn't have defilements means the cloth which they want to dye is so clean and pure. So when they die, when we dig into the Four Noble Truths, listening to that, they can easily understand because they are listening it without any frames, without of idea of me or I know myself. At that time, he delivered the direct teaching. What is the direct teaching?
Mm.
This is suffering. This is cause for the suffering. This is cessation of suffering, and this is the path to cessation of suffering. When they listen in that, they enter to the extreme entered level. So that's why I'm saying we shouldn't frame Buddha's teaching also only direct. If we say that, we say we are forgetting all those other things which Buddha has done. Yes, of course, we are saying with the great respect towards Buddha, but because what we feel it, but
Mhm.
we understand the whole story. And
I was reading somewhere that let's say your mind wanders into anger or ill will. So, and you get a
yeah,
moment of mindfulness, and you see that, and you are out of it. And then, but then next question is, why did it went there? Because unless you tackle that, it will keep on doing that. You can keep on having moments of mindfulness, and obviously you have a body, you feel you have insecurities in your life. There will be situations where you will think about all those, what something wrong can happen. It might not be lust, it might not be anger, it might not be fight, it could be just for your survival, you're thinking about those things. So but the thing is that you moment of mindfulness is there, but then why did it go there unless we come go to the root of it? And I think you said it rightly, that that is where all these um loving kindness and all these stories and all of this, talking about the, like you said, dead bodies and the like seven levels of dead bodies, how body deteriorates, all those things helps, I think. So I yeah, now I understand. Yeah, thank you.
say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, Sadhu, sadhu. Today, we learned the Anuruddhasutta and learned about loving kindness and had a very insightful discussions on Dhamma. We all accumulated many merits in this here night. So let's share all the merits with all the divinely powers, and may they be well and be happy. And let's share all these good merits with our past relatives, and let's share all these good merits with our teacher, Pinatha Goswaminas, and all the monastic monks, and let's share all these the good karma with all of you. May you all be well, be happy. May your all good wishes come true, and may you all able to understand the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu.
Awasarai Pinwa Bante Kema, many merit for a beautiful sutta. Allow us to share merit with Bante and ask for forgiveness. Okasa Wandami Bante. Maya Katang Punyang, Samina Anumoditapang. Samina Katang Punyang, Maihang Datapang. Sadhu Sadhu Anumodami. Okasa Dwaratena Katang Sabang Acayang Kamatami Bante. Okasa Kamami Bante. Dutiyampi Okasa Kamami Bante. Tatiyampi Okasa Kamami Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bante, for a beautiful sutta.